social media is probably, I would say, about 40% of PR strategy now, if not more, depending on the client.
But you creating a space where people can say, but no, what do I have in my hand?
Exactly.
What can I use it for? And how can I build on that?
People understand this authenticity, and people understand, because what we don't see is that a lot of people have been through those situations or know people going through those situations.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Powered Up Talk with me, Izal. I'm so delighted to have another day, another opportunity to just have conversations that empower. Today, I have a phenomenal young lady with me. She is Imani Ndaba, a PR practitioner and the founder of Imani PR Communications. Welcome, Imani, and thank you so much for taking the time to be here today.
Thank you. Very nice introduction.
I love the name Imani. I was actually asking, the first question I want to ask you, what does it mean? It's so unique.
Okay, so Imani means faith in Swahili, and it means faith.
Okay, and who is Imani? Tell us who she is.
Imani, who is Imani? So Imani is an introvert, but she's very bubbly. She's an extrovert, but she's an introvert. Somewhere in between. She's God-fearing. She's ambitious, very ambitious. She wants to impact the world through storytelling. She loves her family, loves her friends. She loves meeting new people and having meaningful conversations.
I love that. I love that. You know, I think when you mention storytelling, oftentimes people think PR management is more crisis management. And it's all about telling stories. It's all about sharing the stories that people have. What birthed that love that you have for storytelling that got you into PR management?
Well, I think from a young age, I don't know about a lot of people, but PR wasn't necessarily presented as PR. But I've always been in love with small things like award shows. I've loved soapies my whole life. I've been intrigued by different shows like the Espresso Show, Hectic 99 on TV. And I've always had a love for them. And in school, I got into being behind the scenes when the school had like drama and plays. And then I dabbled a bit into marketing. And over time, I started to realize, no, there's something that I really like about the entertainment industry, about the storytelling industry, but I don't quite know what it is because it wasn't presented to me. And so I did marketing, I did management, and as I began to do more research, find mentors, I came across PR. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. This is who I've always been. And I've been in love ever since.
Awesome. So tell us exactly, what does Imani PR Management do?
Okay, so Imani PR Management is a boutique firm that creates specialized PR needs for public figures. And so essentially we help them strategize how they communicate with their stakeholders, their followers, their community, and we also help them structure what their brand looks like when presented in the public.
Awesome. And what has been some of the success stories that you've had along your journey?
I think my biggest success story right now, a project that I'm really proud of, is Industry Talks with Tessa Twala. So when Tessa came to us, she wanted to not just be another actress, to not just be another pretty face. Because, you often get objectified when you're a pretty face, especially in our industry. And she wanted to show that there is more to her story. She has intellect. She has a big story and family background. And so we created a show where she comes together with different actresses in the industry and they discuss their stories, their lives. It's like an open space for African women to come and tell their stories, African actresses specifically. And it's a beautiful space because there's so many times when the ladies would come together, they're like, I remember we were on this show together, but we never even spoke and da-da-da-da-da. And then they're also just dropping gems that are going to help actresses that are coming from generations and generations. And I think most of all as well, with the show, we wanted to make sure that when people are going to look at Africa and our history and our stories, they get to hear from the people that are creating them
That's
as well.
perfect.
And so I'm really proud of
That's
that
good
project.
because they can
Yes.
always have the preconceived notion of what
Exactly.
Africa is about. And you
We
now
have to tell
creating
our
the space to
stories.
write the right stories
Yes,
and
ma'am.
tell the right stories. Awesome.
Exactly.
What would you say to someone who's saying, as a startup business, a small company, 5 PR tips just to make sure they do things correctly?
All right. So the first thing I would say is a lot of times people feel like they have to put out a front.
Yeah.
They have to be someone that they're not, or present their business or their company as something that they're not. And the truth is, authenticity and being you is one of the biggest and best things that you'll ever do for your business. The second thing I would say is, you don't need a big budget, especially in the day that we live in today. I mean, we have AI, we have social media, there's access to a lot, and there's also a lot of information that you can easily get from the internet. So don't go crazy. Don't need to break the bank trying to publicize your business or your company. The third thing I would say is, definitely don't be afraid to reach out to media, reach out to the press, get yourself in your local newspaper, your local radio station. It's a lot easier than people actually think it is. And we need those stories. Back to stories again, those stories need to be told. And our local radio, local newspaper, even your local magazines, they are looking for your stories. So it's a lot easier than you think. The fourth one would be, don't be afraid. Like I said, with pitching, pitch to magazines, pitch to newspapers. Don't be afraid to make mistakes when you're starting, because I mean, you're new. So if you're going to try a trend and it doesn't work, that's okay. You keep trying until it gets right. The fifth thing, building off of that point, would probably be, don't look at the numbers too much, especially when you're starting. Focus more on the craft, focus more on the work that you're putting in, you following the systems and the strategies and seeing, okay, this is not working, let me pivot here. But don't worry too much about how many likes you're getting. Don't worry too much. I mean, the numbers do matter, but try focus more on the systems and making sure that you're doing the right thing so that when those numbers find you, you're ready.
That's good. That's good. And I think it speaks to the fact that for me, what stood out there is that you mustn't be afraid to ask. As we know, ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find,
the
knock
worst
on
you
the
can
doors.
get is no,
Exactly, and
but
what you
keep
ultimately
going.
have to lose by doing that. And also just the importance of learning to start small. Sometimes we forget the importance of starting small. Nothing was ever built overnight, and just being consistent even in that. So I love that. What has been in a situation being in PR management where you've had to handle a crisis? How have you dealt with that?
Okay, so I actually got to handle a crisis pretty early in my career, which was very scary because I was like, I don't know if I signed up for this. But essentially, I had a client, and the client was in a relationship, a very publicized relationship, and the relationship didn't end well. And with it not ending well, that whole thing was also publicized. And there was also another client of mine that was involved. So it was a three-way situation. And now I had to navigate having both my clients in this PR crisis, giving both sides advice, and it was very messy.
Drama.
I'm telling you, there was lives, there was tweets. I was just there like, oh my gosh. So I was calling my mentor. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I signed up for this. And she was like, no, relax. Just do this, do this. And I played what I had to do at the time. And I think also at the beginning, I was very worried that I would have to become a liar, to help the situation. And I think my mentor really helped me see that people understand authenticity, and people understand, because what we don't see is that a lot of people have been through those situations or know people going through those situations, and them just seeing people that they look up to going through that situation makes them come up with a lot of opinions. And all you have to do is tell those people stories and respect whatever opinion people are going to have. So that situation, I think I handled pretty well. Most of it was literally just getting them to communicate with their audiences and explain their parts of the story to the audiences, and then also just not being biased in the situation, because it was a bit compromising at some point.
But I think I like what you mentioned there, because you said it also earlier is about being authentic and telling real stories. Because even if you think of it, marketing, a lot of marketers, when they even advertise, when you're seeing a lot of the adverts, most of it is about real experiences. People love reality shows. People love, or they
Exactly.
want to see the
Yes.
real, because sometimes, especially on social media, everything can be so fake. It can be so plastic in a lot of ways. So
Exactly.
people navigate a lot to the reality, and just even seeing in real circumstances how real people deal with challenges. How do you overcome that? And
How you're
people want to see
feeling.
that.
Yes,
And
true.
so even with social media, how important has that been in your PR journey?
It's been very, very important. So I started Imani PR management 4 years ago. And at that time, social media was at its peak. And so when I was busy figuring out what the company structure is going to look like, what our services are going to look like, I realized that in today's day and age, there's absolutely no way to have PR without social media, because where are we reaching people the most? I mean, we still have our traditional media and so forth, but at the end of the day, everybody is on their phone, everyone has a phone, and we don't have a choice. So social media is probably, I would say, about 40% of PR strategy now, if not more, depending on the client and the situation. Social media management is big. It's definitely big.
So if you're saying it's about 40%, where's the balance of the 60?
I would say 40% social media, 20% events. Also, it depends on the client, but let's say for a basic client, 40% would be social media, 20% would be events, 30% would be traditional media, and 10% would be on the ground. So on the ground would essentially be networking. Maybe you're networking with people, you're having to go to meetings to meet people for your brand, taking pictures, etc., photos. That would be like the 10%. Yeah. And again, it changes with every client depending on what they need at that point.
Yeah. I like the fact that you mentioned the networking, because I'm thinking even from networking, that's how I met you.
Yes,
I
yes.
met you at events.
Yes.
And the first time I actually met you was at an event where I was invited by one of your speakers.
Yes,
And
yes.
I didn't necessarily speak to you at that event, but in the second time was another event where you were managing the PR there. But I like that, because we take for granted how important going to events are. Oftentimes people think, no, this is not really relevant for me. What must I go do there? Think bigger. Think of the fact that you're going to network, you're going to meet people. You might just be one person away from the next breakthrough that you're looking for, the next door, the open door that you're looking for. So it's very important that you network and you get to put yourself out there and engage with people, and generally people that you wouldn't necessarily always engage with, because sometimes we can like, no, rather not. So it's good that you mentioned that. With events, I know you also have your own event, the Inside Out Girls campaign. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, ma'am. So the Inside Out Girls campaign, I started way before Imani PR management. It was also one of the reasons where I was like, oh my gosh, I love PR, because the part that I enjoy the most about the Inside Out Girls campaign was the PR aspect. So essentially, it's a woman empowerment business. I mean, a woman empowerment campaign that aims to help young women in business. And so the event you came to, that was the How to Her brunch. And it is essentially where we bring speakers together, we bring like-minded women together, they network, they get to know more about their business, and we even bring physical businesses. I think you saw the stalls, so that the ladies, because some ladies, they haven't yet started their businesses, and they get to see that in real time. And so that was started. We've been running it for 8 years now.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's for young women, like I said, and we have the brunch twice a year. And it's just so impactful. You hear such amazing stories. You'll hear a lady that was at the first brunch, and then at the 8th brunch, she's a speaker and she has a flourishing business. And it's like, oh my God, the fruit of our work. Like, it's only God. Like, wow, yeah.
I loved your first event. Well, it was the only one that I've been to so far. But I loved what I saw in the fact that you guys covered pretty much such a diverse range of speakers. You covered from even recruitment, helping young girls get into jobs, understanding how to do social media, just how to build your brand. So I really like the whole aspect of growing businesses, because so oftentimes people are standing in a queue looking for jobs, saying there's no employment, we don't have opportunities, but you creating a space where people can say, but no, what do I have in my hand?
Exactly.
What can I use it for? And how can I build on that?
And back to the networking, because your business partner could be there, your next employee could be there, there's a photographer there, maybe you need a shoot for your business. It's just an amazing space.
So well done on that. It's really an amazing initiative that you've developed. When is the next one?
The next one is in May.
Okay. Tell us a bit about the details and everything, and how can people become part of it if they maybe want to have their brand visible on the day?
So you can go to the Inside Out Girls campaign.org website. We have all our application forms there, whether you want to be a vendor, whether you want to attend the event. All the events are free. We make sure that they're free because we want to make sure everyone can come to the opportunity. It is going to be in Sandton. I can't disclose the place yet due to confidentiality for now, but we will be making an announcement. So if you have our website, all our social media is the Inside Out Girls campaign. You will definitely be hearing about it very soon.
Awesome.
And we're going to have you there too.
Oh, I'm also going to be there. Okay, thank you. So in closing, what advice would you give a small business starting out? I know you've given us some great PR tips, but I think just some general advice. I mean, you're a business owner yourself. You've had a journey. You've overcome some challenges. What advice would you give to someone watching this and saying, I know there's more to my life. I know that there's a purpose to me and I want to do more. What would you say to that girl?
I will definitely say, because in 2026, I think it's very easy, or it's presumed to be easy, to start a business and so forth. So I feel that people neglect the basic steps. So I will definitely say, if you're starting a business in 2026, don't neglect the basic steps. Make sure your CIPC is in order. Make sure your documentation is in order. If you're an agency, make sure that you're under the correct agencies. Make sure you've done the work that you need to do behind the scenes. You've done the research. Make sure that you understand the ins and outs of your industry so that you're able to take that industry by a hold, and you don't have to learn those things while you're already functioning in the business, because I think it's much harder to do it while you're in the business. I would also say get the certificates. You don't always have to, maybe if you're, for example, with me, with PR, we all have to be under PRISA, which is the Public Relations Southern African Institute, and you have to have certain certificates and so forth. And I think every industry has an institution like that, and it's important that you are a part of those institutions, because in the long run, it's going to help you a lot.
Okay, I love that advice, and I like that you also gave some practical tips, because it's sometimes, like you're saying, people always think on the skill and what they're selling, and they neglect those critical aspects.
Very true.
Maybe also something worthwhile to do at one of your other events is bring those people along, help people get to register their business, whatever tax.
That's a great idea.
People actually, if you've got this business idea, come along, let's show you how you can get it registered. How can you get a tax consultant helping you with all of those? Exactly, start up that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll invoice you later. But thank you so much, Imani, for making the time to be with us. I'd learned a lot. I know even for myself, there's a lot of lessons that I took from this. So thank you for sharing your advice with us and for just being you. We appreciate you, and thank you for making the time to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this platform. It's an amazing platform, and I can't wait to see what it has for 2026.
Awesome. One last question. How can people connect with you?
It's Imani Ndaba on all social media platforms.
And it's all Instagram, Facebook, everything?
Everything. And Imani PR Management if you need PR services as well.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Imani.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for watching us. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and connect with us on our social platforms, Facebook and Instagram, Powered Up Talk with me, Izal.